Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to Wayne Community College, the week of January 21st, 2018, spring semester. This is a video just to discuss plans for the week. My name once again is Dr. Ryan Bradshaw, and I just wanted to bring you a brief video to discuss a few things going on and help you get organized for your week with regard to any class or classes you may have with me. So, with that being said, just want to jump off with a few just kind of tips for success. One of the things you'll find out about college, depending on how long you've been here, the longer you hang around, the more you'll know that it's important to be organized. I actually have myself a kind of a leather notebook here. It doesn't have to be leather, it could be anything. But inside of this little portfolio, I've got a Wayne Community College student planner. These are available for free. You can probably swing by the WLC building, or we do probably still have some available in Spruce. But basically, I will go through and organize what I've got coming up, and that gives me a snapshot of kind of my week, and that way I can kind of plan around that. And if you're taking 5 or 6 classes or more, it's important to stay organized, because things will catch you off guard, and it puts you in a bad situation where it can compromise your grades, it can compromise your sanity. So the more organized and proactive you are up front, the better off you'll be as far as performance. Okay, another thing I wanted to mention, and I might have mentioned it before, but just to continue to talk about it, is really success in any of my courses comes down to 2 major things: showing up, whether it be in class or online, and doing the work. If you're showing up to class, whether it's, like I said, seated or online, if you're participating, checking your emails, communicating, staying ahead of the game, you're probably going to be successful. But the other piece of that is doing the work. You've got to, if you're showing up, it probably lends to you doing the work. But I have had students before that showed up in class pretty often, but just were not consistent in doing the work. And that really lends to not being successful in the course. I mean, just how tough is that if you show up all semester, to like 90% of the class, but you only did 30% of the work, and fail in the class. I have students that fall into that category almost every semester. It's usually 1 or 2 students, but I hate for that to happen, because you're investing your time, and we're trying to help you learn some stuff, but in order to evaluate your performance, there has to be some type of work done, submitted, and graded. So just wanted to offer you those 2 pieces of advice: showing up, doing the work, and then also being organized. Those things will help you be highly successful. This semester, I will say, has had kind of a weird start. I know the weather has thrown us off a little bit, but I'm hoping now, starting this week, we can really start to get some consistency in our in and outs each week, our performance each week. I think, the worst of the weather's behind us. I hope so. And so we can really kind of get into the meat of the semester, so to speak. All right, so those few notes out of the way, I want to kind of walk through real quick and talk about classes. And this is a general video blog or video cast to all my classes. And I'm just going to spend a few seconds in each class just giving you a heads up on what's due this week. Now, for my business law students, the seated class, we are going to cover Chapter 5 today, which I just told you this on Friday, and we're having to reevaluate the schedule a little bit because of the weather. But we will be covering Chapter 5 today, and we're going to be doing the test number 1 on Wednesday the 24th, which we've already discussed this in class, and then we'll be covering Chapter 6 on Friday. So a little bit of a little difference to the schedule there. For the purposes of the weather, we had to make some adjustments. So 5 today, test on Wednesday. The test will cover chapters 1, 2, and 4, as I mentioned on Friday. And then we will cover chapter 6 on Friday. All right. And so for my other seated class, the Principles of Management class, starting tomorrow, actually, Tuesday, Thursdays, we're going to be covering chapter 3 this week. So if you want to go ahead and kind of skim the chapter to get some preparation before you come to class, so we're going to cover that chapter, and then we'll have one more chapter next week, Chapter 4, and then we'll have a test coming up the following week, first week of into February. And so just to give you a heads up on that, that's your kind of schedule coming up. For my online business class, my online business law class, taking a look at your schedule. And the online schedule didn't disrupt as much as the seated class because of we don't have those physical meetings we have to count for. So you should have at this point already taken your test number 1 and be heading into Chapter 5 and Chapter 6 work this week. So your schedule stayed on par with what it should have been. And so no adjustments were needed because, like I said, we didn't actually have a meeting interruption because of the weather. When it comes to the small business management, the 230 course, I took a look at your initial work with regards to the first assignment on the podcast, Sarah Blakely. Great feedback on that. A lot of you got something really positive out of it, and that was the goal because you saw how this Sarah Blakely took pretty much nothing and turned it into $1 billion company. And so very interesting. And I took a look at all your logo designs. A lot of good stuff there too. Keep up the good work, guys. Your assignment for this week on the company description is live in Moodle. Some of you have already submitted it, but there is a follow-up video with that as well to kind of walk you through that if you haven't taken a look yet. So I'll kind of give you a heads up on this, but just taking another quick look at what's coming up. So we're doing the company description this week, and then next week we'll be getting to the mission and vision statements, and then we'll have another case study coming up on Mark Cuban. And if you watch Shark Tank, Mark Cuban is one of the lead investors up there. I don't know if he was a lead investor, but he's one of the investors up there. But in any case, he's an interesting character and very vivacious, very, very opinionated. And so he's an interesting guy to study from a business perspective. And he was really in the right place at the right time. If you study how his fortune was made, he was just right there with a good idea and at the beginning of the internet age. And so really interesting story how he sold broadcast.com. All right, moving right along. The ethics class. For my ethics folks, course scheduled this week. Just to give you a heads up on this again. I know this course is quick. Anytime you're in an 8-week course, you're doing a lot of work very quickly. But this week we do have the Chapter 5 and Chapter 6 assignments due. So as a reminder, be sure to knock those out. And once again, 8-week classes do fly by. So just, hang in there. If you're doing the same amount of work in half the time, basically. And then lastly, my 137, my Principles of Management 8-week online class, you guys are also basically doubling up on the amount of work you guys are doing. So for this week, as a reminder, you do have a test scheduled tomorrow, test number 1 on the first 4 chapters. And then right behind that, you got Chapter 5 and Chapter 6 assignments to do. So a lot of work ahead for this week, guys. But hang in there, stay vigilant. That means stay watchful and stay aware of what's going on around you so you won't be caught off guard. And so, just as a recap, get an organizer, stay organized, take your assignment schedules, write them on the organizer, keep it somewhere where you can see it and be aware of it daily so you don't get caught off guard. Show up, whether it's online or in class, and then make sure you do the work. And those things will help you be successful. One other brief tip of advice, and it's preaching to the choir because I'm guilty of this as well sometimes, but try to avoid procrastination. When I started grad school, I would work a week ahead as much as I could. And after a few years of that, I did just basically fall week to week. I would do the work. But you want to try to be proactive as possible and work ahead of schedule as much as you can because it takes so much pressure off of you if you've already got assignments or readings or things done. So be proactive, don't procrastinate, don't wait, and know what's due and go ahead and get the work done. If you do the work, you will more than likely be successful in the course. So if you need anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can email me anytime. If it is on the weekends, and if it's not a pressing matter, I'll probably will hit you back on Monday. But I do make sure that I address everyone that emails me, and I've got some emails right now I've got to address here this morning, but I don't just ignore your email, so I will get back to you in a timely fashion. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you. I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk again soon, okay? Talk to you soon.